Well, hello. Welcome to the Golf Podcast Live with Raf and Mike. This is episode 106. We've got special guests today, includes, PGA Champions Tour player Rob Labritz. And with us now is veteran reporter and award-winning journalist, founder of golf.com, Mr. Alex Miceli.
Hello. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Welcome, Alex. We really appreciate you joining us today.
No, not a problem.
Well, some of our viewers and listeners on 17 different platforms may not know who Alex Miceli is, so we can remember you from back in the day. I'm an old teaching professional. I've been in the space for close to 30 years, and so has Mike in the digital space. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in golf writing and journalism.
Wow. Mistakenly, probably is the best answer to that question. So when I started golf.com in my basement in the 90s, I was not a journalist. I was doing other things, which I won't get into. But as I started golf.com, it needed to evolve into something other than what I had first envisioned, which was a travel site. And so what we did is expand upon it and started doing coverage. And so I would start going to events and start writing poorly at events. And that's, like I said, that would have been 95-ish. And so over time, I got a little better and continued to write even after we sold golf.com. And so that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
I'm kind of impressed that you built golf.com, and actually I didn't know that still until I started reading about you recently here, Alex. So I'm in the digital space. I own digital media companies, so I know how much work goes into building an asset like that. How did you go about selling that? Were you offered money to sell it, or did you put it on the market?
No. Oddly enough, believe it or not, the partners that we had with golf.com in the end were NBC Sports, Golf Digest, and one of the Baby Bells out of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the three. And NBC had just got done doing the Olympics in Sydney, and they had done the online part, the internet part, which really wasn't much of an internet, but yes, internet part, was with this company called Quokka Sports that was they were headquartered in San Francisco, but they were really a bunch of guys out of Australia. And NBC came to us and said, these guys are interested in maybe purchasing you or acquiring you. And so, yes, they were a public company at the time, and sure, everything's for sale.
That's right.
There's two things you should learn if you start a business, and I've done enough of them. One is everything's for sale, and two, before you start, you should already be thinking about your exit strategy. And I didn't know that. I didn't know both those things at the time, but I've learned over time that that's what you need to do.
That's great.
Absolutely. Well, there's lots in the headlines, as you know, Alex, with, not only golf.com talking about the fact that Ryder Cup tickets are through the roof. That's one of the headlines, as well as, TGL announces today the inaugural season schedule. Tim O'Neill claims first PGA Tour champions win. Hannah Green wins 3 times. JT Poston, a long TPC Summerlin event, gets his 3rd win, I suppose. Anything there you want to tackle? I really want to talk about the Ryder Cup and how much it costs, because personally, I think it's ridiculous. We're looking at Bethpage Black. It's a 581% increase from the last Ryder Cup event in ticket pricing. At $750, we're talking white collar pricing now. The New Jersey and New York crowd, that is fantastic. I don't think they'll be able to afford in today's economy to go out. And that's for one day. It's not a 4-day pass. It's a 1-day ticket price.
Okay, so first of all, I don't usually just completely and utterly disagree with the person on the other side of the phone, or in this case, the camera.
That's okay.
But I have to disagree for many reasons. The first is that in any business situation, and even though the Ryder Cup is not a business per se, the PGA of America is not a business per se, they're a nonprofit organization, you try to get what is the most you can get generally out of a sale. Nobody walks in saying, I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm not going to ask for this much. The PGA of America spent a lot of time talking to the Knicks, the Yankees, the Mets, the Rangers, all New York teams, trying to understand better the pricing of a New York event versus a event that was in Kohler, Wisconsin, first of all. Second of all, the difference between where we were when we were in Kohler in regards to inflation, ticket pricing, everything has happened since then to now is considerably different. I mean, inflation alone was what? I mean, it's pretty simple. It was 10 to 15% easy in those 4 years, maybe even 20%. So there's that going into it. You're going into New York City versus completely different than what you're getting in Kohler, Wisconsin. And oh, by the way, this is arguably the biggest golf event there is. It happens every 4 years in the US, 2 years, obviously, when it goes to Europe. And I will tell you that I drive a BMW. I got an email from BMW, who's one of the sponsors of the Ryder Cup, saying, would you like to buy Ryder Cup tickets? You can go through this system. I got it one day. The next day I went in to look what it was, and what they were charging so for the one. I could not buy a ticket. They were all gone. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with trying to sell these tickets at $700 a pop. Oh, by the way, too, they include all your food and all your drink with the exception of alcoholic drinks. The taxes in New York alone are way above what they were in Wisconsin. And all that is factored in and put into that final price. So it's not like you go to the car dealership and you buy the car and all they say, we want to charge you for this and charge you for that. None of that is in the case. So it's all covered under one thing. Now, do you think that family of four going for one day, some for $2,800, $2,900, is that a lot of money? Absolutely. There is no question that's a lot of money. But in a country like ours of 300 million people, there are the people out there that want to buy it and want to pay for it. And by the way, as an aside, I don't really understand why anybody would go to a Ryder Cup because you can't see anything. But that's another whole story. Bottom line is it a fair value kind of deal? And I think at this point it is.
That's really interesting. I'm going to just do a small rebuttal, Mike, before you say anything. I understand cost of organizing, the expected interest that you talk about is there, but it excludes those who can't afford it. So that's sort of my small argument. Rising prices across all sports is not comparable. This is not a stadium game where you get to see everything and all the action. You're not going to see all the players. You might as well just stay home and watch it on television. The only thing it takes out is the inflated secondary market, I suppose, right? You've got that action, but I would not compare it to NHL, MLB, NFL, NBA, because it's a stadium style course where you get to see the whole event. You will not see it, and you won't see it in one day. But I do get it, and I do respect your opinion, obviously.
But I think the thing is live sporting. I mean, 30 years from now, if you took your kids to Bethpage and went to the Ryder Cup, 30 years from now, they will still remember they went to the Ryder Cup at Bethpage, and it'll still be a big deal. It's not the same if they just rolled in and went to a Mets game one day. It's just not the same.
I hear you, Mike.
I mean, I agree with you, Alex. And you mentioned not going to the Ryder Cup. I mean, it's great to feel the crowd and all that, but golf presents very well on TV, I find. You've got to put a lot of effort in when you're at a tournament, especially if you're not lucky enough to be inside the ropes. You got to plan your day to get around to see your players and probably bring binoculars because you may not get very close to them. So I echo what you say there. And Bethpage is known for that. That boisterous New York crowd, and I'm expecting we'll probably see some of that. But when you get ticket prices, getting that high in the secondary market, if that isn't, that you're going to expect seeing 2, 3, 4 times the ticket value there, perhaps.
Which is one of the things I think and I wish the PGA America would focus on this part of the equation, eliminating the secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
If you could eliminate the secondary market, then I think it's a much better deal for everybody. I mean, no one should be able to take a $700 ticket and charge you $5,000 for a $700 ticket.
Absolutely.
It just shouldn't happen. And there's ways they could deal with that if they wanted to. But I agree with you. I mean, look, go to the I mean, I see all these trees down at the Masters, at Augusta National. Man, that's going to be great. People are going to be able to see a lot better than they ever could before because all these trees are gone.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Alex, before we just move on, go ahead. Just before.
Looks like.
Before we move on, just a quick shout out to Castillo Leo's people because of Milton and Helene. Make sure you just give him a shout over at Castillo Roofing and Flood to say thank you for his support. Again, TGL announcing the inaugural season schedule. Alex, very quickly, what do you make of the indoor golf stadium team style promotion they're trying to get started with some of the top players in the game?
I don't have an opinion per se yet. I think I have to see it. I think it's being unfair to them to sit there and bash it. And at the same time, I think it'd be unfair to me to sit there and suggest that it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, I think you really have to get to see it and feel it. I'm sure it's going to be more entertaining if you're now this may be more entertaining if you're there than being on television. I don't know, but I'm assuming it will be. And there's going to be a really limited amount of people that'll be able to go to that. But I just feel like, I don't want to talk about growing the game because I'm so tired of hearing that phrase. But what I do think is that there's a lot of people that are younger than me in general that want to see golf in a different way. Completely get that, completely understand that. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm not going to get all bent out of shape because they want to see it differently than I want to see it. So let's kind of see how it goes. Let's see how it plays out. And then I think we can talk about if it's a good idea or a bad idea and what our opinions are. But I can tell you right now, there's a lot of money behind it. So if they screw it up in year one, they'll try to figure it out in year two. But I don't think it's going to be just like Live. Actually, there's a lot of money behind Live. It's not going to die. It's going to be successful at some point. It just depends on how much money they have to pour into it.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's a good segue.
Alex, final question. Sports Illustrated. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. You got the segue. Go ahead.
You've got a bit of a delay there, Raf, but you've recently won an award for one of your opinion pieces. Congratulations. What stands out to me is your reference to Jay Monahan being the fireman and the arsonist. I love that because we've talked a lot about Jay's role and how he could have done things differently. So I just like to get some insight from you on that statement, and for fun, if you were Jay Monahan, how might you have handled the situation differently?
Wow. I don't know if you have enough time on the podcast for all that. Look,
that's a loaded question, Mike.
Yeah. Jay's a great guy. As an individual, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That does not mean he didn't completely screw this up with the Live people. And it starts with, and I know you may have heard this before, but it starts with the simple thing in business. Again, the tour was not a business, but it really is. In business, when you have a legitimate person that wants to talk to you about doing something, you at least take the call. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if he knew who Piff was. None of us knew who Piff was before this all started. But Jay Monahan should have known who Piff was, and if he didn't know, then he should have called in some people and say, tell me who these people are. Because when somebody rolls in and knocks on the door and says, I want to talk about investing in you, and I have $750 billion behind me, then I think you take the call. I think you take the meeting. Doesn't mean it's going to go well. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but at least you understand it. You want to be smarter than you were before you went in the meeting. That didn't happen. And I think that's the beginning of the process of the spiral of how this didn't work out right for the PGA Tour. And it still hasn't today. I mean, obviously we're talking, it's October 21st, 2024, which puts us, 15 months since the framework agreement. That thing is in the trash can. It's just been a very, very difficult thing. And, when you're running an organization, you need to be in control of your people. You need to give them the information. You need to make them feel comfortable with what you're doing. Never did that. Never made them comfortable. Never. So then, in turn, what happened is they kind of revolt against you. That is why we are where we are today, because his players have really revolted against him.
That's right.
So, Jay's contract is up sometime, I think the middle of next year. I've heard many different things, but if I'm Jay Monahan, I've made a lot of money being PGA Tour commissioner. I think I should just be on the sidelines looking in at this point. I just think that this is not going in the right direction, and we need someone else in charge of the PGA Tour.
Yeah, very well said. We've talked a lot about it, and I feel the same way. I don't know him personally, but he does look like he'd be a great guy to play around with, and obviously an intelligent guy. But looking backwards, it's easy to.
Wow, that's well said, and I agree with you as well.
Good. So, well, we've kept you for twice as long as we asked, Alex. We do really appreciate you joining us. We've got Rob Labritz in the waiting room coming in to talk about.
Mike, I just want to say to Alex, thank you for coming on. I think there might be a little delay with when I'm speaking.
That's that Toronto delay.
Hopefully the hockey team's better than that.
Yeah. That's
there's a big delay.
Yes, there is. So the Maple Leafs are known for their delays, Alex. So that's no one likes Leaf fans except for Leaf fans. So
I hope that hopefully they'll have a better season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys take care. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Alex. I really appreciate your time. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
There he is.
All right. I think we've got somebody joining us right now. Alex, thanks for coming on, and congratulations on the award with Sports Illustrated. Today, we've got someone very special with us today. He's been on with us before. His name is Mr. Rob Labritz. Thank you for coming on the show. This has been brought to you by Lagmaster Sports. Go see Mike Dickson, teaching tools, digital and physical at lagmastersports.com. Rob, so great to see you. What a run, 3 years. Tell us, first of all, your emotions and where you are today after everything's transpired coming off the green at the SAS Championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, when you don't accomplish your goals, I got emotional. And, right when I walked off 18 is when the Champions Tour Al got me for that interview. So, everything kind of hit me at once, realizing that I finished 74th. Realizing that I didn't have a job for next year, and then realizing that I had to gain status by going through Q school again. And all that just kind of hit me at one time. And it was just, I was trying to just, be cool in the moment and answer as honestly as I could. But, it took me, I'm still kind of going through it right now, to be honest with you, but it took me a few days to kind of really unwind. I've had some good friends, I want to say thank you, first of all, to everybody. I mean, I'll just start with social media. Thank you. I mean, it's insane, the amount of support that came out of that, and the people have my phone number, my family and friends, and it's just been amazing. And all my other tour players out there, thank you. I mean, that was kind of like the thing that really helped. Even though I really didn't look at social media the first few days, it just kind of really helped kind of get through it. But yeah, what can I say? I worked my tail off and didn't accomplish my goals. So, I've got to go through Q school again. I've been asked a lot, what's your next, what happens if you don't get through Q school? And I haven't even thought about that yet, because my next move is to get through Q school.
Yeah, well, it's what that's the next step, and many of us would have cut our right pinky off to have the last 3 years that you've had, and right, it's a hell of an experience, and it's a crazy sport we have. No matter what level, if it's amateur tournaments, professional tournaments, it comes down to making a couple extra putts, or it's just such a fickle sport. So, you've had a lot of success out of it. But it's reality. I'm confident you're going to do it again. You're going to win. Let's see you take down that Q School trophy like you did a few years ago, and make this story. Give it some legs. Bring it back to life.
Rob, I
Yeah,
sent you a message a little while back, once you came off the green, and I know you responded, but really, I'll tell you, the golf community at large, when it comes to teaching professionals, instructors, would have loved to be in your position. Now, most people do not have the courage or the willpower to go out and practice as hard, be a club professional, still be a dad, do everything that you do and still make it happen. And that's why we look up to you and follow you, and you're one of the most popular guys on the Champions Tour. And so, the results will come. It takes a little bit of time. You got your rookie debut for a big tour at the age of 50. So you can't be too hard on yourself. And I guess I missed out the fact that you are not retiring, but going to Q School, right?
yeah. I mean, I am definitely going to Q school. I go right to finals, top 75, get right into finals, and
Good.
I'm just gonna go, get back on the horse. And I mean, the tour is where I belong out there. I know that. I know my game is as good as it's as good as anybody else's game out there. Where I went wrong this year was losing balance. I lost balance in everything out there. And it started, from the beginning of the year. It started just from, the little back injury that I had. I can't say little, but from the back injury I had, not that I'm a dweller, but it was kind of like okay, you can't really start the season now, sort of thing.
Mm.
And went through a few caddies out there, and to not to their fault. It has nothing to do with their professionalism or anything like that. It's just, getting along with me. I'm probably a little bit a different guy, especially when I can't say different guy, but when things weren't going
Mm,
my way. I tended to get, just on myself a little bit more. I don't get on anybody else but myself, because that's the only person you can, blame it on. And though the comments that were coming back to me weren't kind of lifting me up. I was just getting more frustrated. And then I was thinking about other
yeah.
things out there besides winning. And the first 2 years, all I was thinking about was winning. And before, God, we even go farther. I mean, my hat's off. That's why it's off right now to Tim O'Neill. I mean, he won.
Yeah.
He won last week, which is
Yep.
just unbelievable. It is not unbelievable. Tim's game, I've played with him so much, has gotten so much better in the past year or two. That rightfully so. So congrats to Tim. That's awesome
Yeah,
to
that's
see.
very cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got a little bit of a different foundation because he's a world golfer. He's been pursuing this for a very long time. He's a veteran even on the Corn Ferry Tour. And so he had a bit of different launch pad
Oh
than
yeah.
you did, getting his feet wet on the highest level. So, but I really think, Rob, your time is coming. It's just a matter of time. I know some of our friends and sponsors at Shape and Swelter tried to reach out to you. I think out in Oregon. I don't know if you met Rob Snyder. He was talking about a ball cap system, but he thought
Yes.
we'd
Yes.
love to mention
Yeah.
that
The
today.
thing that goes on
He
that
said
goes
he
on the
actually,
underside.
yeah, he spoke to you while you're playing, and it's like, yeah, that's Rob. He's known to be chatty and whatnot. So he was a little blown away that you took the time to have a few second chat with him.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The little thing that he had under there, and I think that, for the general public, that is phenomenal. You just got to cut it in there to fit, and it takes all the sweat away, which is just a really smart idea. For
Yeah,
myself, we're lucky when you play the tour, you get new hats basically every week, so you're always looking fresh.
yeah,
but
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
could
that's
definitely
right.
see, that having if you have a favorite hat, or one that like to wear all the time, then that would
yeah.
definitely help,
When
especially if you're out in the hot.
when you got to
Yeah,
pay 50, 60
we're
bucks a
certainly
hat,
lucky.
you don't want to preserve those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're also lucky, Rob. I mean, we partnered up with Paradox Golf. It's a three-wheel push cart system with Jeff Hanning, Lagmaster Sports, Mike Dickson, who's a top 100 PGA professional. You may have heard of him with his teaching tools. Castillo Roofing, Shape and Swelter. So we're really thankful for our journey in the last few years since you begun, because we've been following your progress and talking about you on our show. This is, after all, our 106th episode right now.
Congratulations.
So we're really thrilled. Thank you. Thank you. So what are the next steps? I know you've taken a huge step by moving to Florida, right? So you're now right in the mecca of golf. I guess you're out in close to the
Yeah, Palm
Jupiter
Beach
area.
Gardens, right here in Palm
Wow.
Beach. It's
Nice.
we about a year and a half ago, and I knew this Champions Tour thing. Hopefully it worked out, and we're still in the process of that happening. But I wanted to kind of lighten my load while I was out here, so to speak. So we sold our house that we had in Westchester and kind of got ready. We rent a nice little place in this place called Alton down here.
Hmm.
Everything's self-contained. You got your Publix, you got your restaurants, you got your. It's very cool for myself and my daughters. They love it. It's very close to the club. I'm a member at the Bears Club, so it's about a mile down there, and
Oh yeah,
it's just a great spot for you to get really good at your golf game. And the weather right now is 80 degrees and
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Yeah, that's
looking
amazing.
forward to looking forward to looking at my clubs again in the next few days and getting back at it.
So have you parted ways with Glen Arbor for now?
No,
No,
oh
you're
gosh,
still
no.
still affiliated.
I,
Okay, good.
oh yeah, they're always gonna part of the fabric of that place. They're gonna
Okay.
have to kick me out, drag me out. Same with them. I hope they feel the same way. Yeah, no, yeah, they're very close, as you can see, very close to my heart.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have my glasses
always,
on.
always there. And then my other sponsors have been great. Crystal
Yeah,
Burgers and J. Alexander's and Epic Insurance Brokers. It's been Orion Infrastructure Capital, Titleist, FootJoy. I mean, FootJoy has the greatest clothes. They outfit me all year, and Athlete, my sports drink. That everybody's just been off the charts with me. So
good.
I'd like to big thank you to all of them.
Well, that's fantastic, and that they're supporting you on the next journey into Q School and getting your card for next year, because we're confident. And wish I should just say this for both Raf and I: if you're in a pinch for a caddy, don't hesitate.
well, we've been saying that for 3 years. Haven't we been
Yeah, we'll come
bugging him
down
about
and
that?
just shut up and keep up. And I'm good
I'll
at
tell you
talking
what.
people off the ledge.
Right now, no, I'm not even close to being on the ledge anymore. But maybe last season though. My son actually caddied for me in my last event that we tried to make the playoffs, which was really cool. And he's gonna hopefully he asked for the time off. He's an assistant golf for the Country Club of Louisiana in Baton Rouge. So hopefully he
Great,
asked his new head golf professional Marie for the time off, and hopefully she she feels good in her heart to give it to him so he can we can have a nice
great.
walk and get through Q School together. He did a great job on the bag last week, so I was really proud of him.
And that was a strong finish as well. With him on the bag, you got a T24. I know when it comes down to playing multiple rounds and when it's just two birdies away, right? And you could look back at the season and sort of beat yourself silly because you say, I could have placed one,
You,
I
you,
could
you,
have entered this tournament,
no,
right? You could look at it a different way, but you can't do that to
no,
yourself, right?
it is what it is. I grinded on every shot. I never threw one away. I never backhanded one into a hole. I never hit one in anger. I focused on every one of those
Mhm.
shots this year, and there's the greatest thing in professional golf is if you're not playing well and you're not doing well, play better. And that's all I have to
Right.
learn. I've got to learn to manage it more. I'm still getting used to playing 27 events a year times three of in all your pro-ams. I've played so much golf the last 3 years, and to be honest with you, I've never played that much golf in a row in my life ever. So, as I sit back and I think about all these things that, why didn't I obtain my card? Why didn't I finish that top 36? Why did I not make the playoffs?
Mhm.
I mean, I look much more deeper than, okay, well, I've got to fix my putting, or I've got to, save a shot or a shot here or there. It's controlling my emotions. It's understanding when to take a week off and not play every event. It's understanding,
Mm.
that is, you know, I, guys. honestly, I was out there and I waited my entire life to get out there. And I was out there questioning myself when I wasn't
Right.
playing well.
Hmm.
And, you can't do that out there. And that the only reason I did that was because I wasn't prepared enough to get through it.
Mm,
And now that I understand it, it took me losing my card to reflect on it and understand it. But you know what? It's not going to happen again.
Hmm.
I mean, you live and learn and you move on. And this hurt. This hurt a lot. But you know what? Smiles back on my
no,
face.
for sure.
I've got another opportunity to go to Q school and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fight. And I want
Yep.
everybody on social media that didn't know me that were like, oh gosh, Rob, don't give. I'm not giving up.
Hmm.
No, I'm gonna fight until
That's great.
and you'll see me out there. It's fine.
Now, and we love the fact that you're transparent. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You don't try to be someone you're not. With the John Cook interview, John Cook's a guest, a friend of the show as well. And he comes on. We talk about his past game and how things are going. So really, really great to see that. So what happens with your status right now? Do you have any exempt status? There's also European possibilities because they do have the Legends Tour out there. Have you thought about any of that to change things up and maybe do qualifiers? Because I'm fairly sure the way the system works out there, that there are exemptions in place due to sponsorship on the Legends
Yes,
Tour.
and there are, and the Legends Tour is another great tour. There's so much talent out there. There is as much talent out there as there is on the Champions Tour. I mean, everybody wants to go to the Champions Tour because the prizes and the purses are more. But the guys who are playing golf for a living out there are as good as everybody.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't really contemplated going over there much. I really just set my sights on the Champions Tour, and then. You know, I really, to be honest with you guys, haven't looked past 6 weeks from now. I haven't looked past December 6th
Good.
until I've kind of looked at the schedule. I've definitely looked at all the tournament executives that I need to write sponsors invitations to, which I will be begging and pleading
Hmm.
to get a few starts. I know that I'll play in
Yep.
all their pro-ams. I have so much fun with all their clients and stuff. So if I'm lucky enough to get any one of those, any one of the starts, I will be happy, honored, and it's still a chance. It's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
I had 26 lottery tickets in the last year and the year prior, and this year, and I didn't hit any lottery. So the lottery ticket's going to be out there, and I'm going to hit it.
Yeah, no, you will. I'm confident that you're going to get that card back in your pocket, and when you do, how are you going to look at that schedule differently? Like, would you go 2 weeks on, 1 week off, or two or three, and just give yourself a chance to rest, or how are you going to schedule yourself?
The rest would be more. I would need that more. I realized towards the end of the season, when my back was up against the wall, adrenaline kind of kicked in,
Yeah,
and it didn't kick in with 5 events left. It kicked in with 2 events left.
yeah,
So, I was pretty spent and the guys out there could see it. Everybody could see it. I was not myself. I was just kind of going through the motions, even though I was going through the motions, and I didn't recognize
Mm,
it until I got home and my wife told me and my friends told me and people who one of my best friends, Fast Eddie Fernandez, caddied for me, in at Furyk and Friends,
yeah.
and after the round, we finished tied for 40th or something with one or two under, and at the end of the round, he looked at me and he said, "Rob, you're just spent, aren't you?" And I was like, "Man, am I really? Is it that obvious?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You need to take a deep breath and get away and figure out what you want to do."
mm.
Yeah.
And I know what I want to do, but if he's telling me that, then I got to look inside myself and figure out what he meant. So
Yeah, you need to get those
yeah.
off weeks down, get the feet in that nice white sand and the beach in Florida there, and get that balance. Because I find sometimes, and I can only relate on playing amateur tournaments. But there was our local mini tour here. It was front loaded. There was a lot of events in the spring, and I was such a diehard. I was playing them all, and I would feel burnt out by May after playing every second week or something like that. And these are like 1 or 2 day events, nothing to you know.
And Mike, you got your regular work schedule with
Oh,
your
totally.
digital company, right? So you're putting in 40, 50
Yeah.
hours of work in the office, plus playing golf every day, plus,
Yeah.
so
I would
we've got
literally
our own
put the
issues,
clubs
right?
away for like 3 weeks. By the time July hit, I'm like, I don't want to touch these damn things. And then the bug came back. The true golf addiction came back. So getting hungry to be on the course and get out there again. And so it sounds like if you get that right, you're a week or two on and a week or two off, and you might come back rejuvenated and ready to get some hardware to lift above your head Sunday afternoon.
It's almost like you're going to be hungrier because you're taking you're taking an opportunity and not taking it.
Yeah.
So you'll be rested. You're going to, during that opportunity that you're not taking, you're going to be rested because you're going to push yourself to rest. And
Yeah.
then, you'll work on a few things before you get to the week started, and then you'll be much more refreshed. What a great way of looking at it. Yeah, that's something we're going to put into play next year without a doubt. If Q School goes
Or
well.
in sports, and people who are in their 50s going into their 60s, longer is the exception. We're going to put them into some sort of other category. But people are coming out of retirement because they love what they do and they want to do it in some shape or form on a competitive level. So it's great to see. Just a segue into this question: favorite courses or players to play with? This will be one of my last questions. Out there, you've now seen the courses. Is there a type of course or a place you love to go back to? And are there players that you love to play with now that you've played there 3 years?
So yeah, all the courses that I've made a lot of money at, I love those courses. Those are my favorite ones. Um,
Right.
and then there's not a guy out in the Champions Tour, honest to God, that I've played with in the past 3 years that I wouldn't want to play with every day.
Mm.
They're just a good group of dudes out there, man, and they love their golf and they grind at their golf, and it is awesome to be surrounded by that constantly because. It's if you want to be there and if you love the game of golf and you want to compete, that's where you got to be. So yeah, I can't really name names because they're all just incredible in their own ways, and
Yeah.
they're also crafty in their own ways, from the Ernie Els to the Corey Pavins to the look at the David Bransdens, look at Tim O'Neill. I
Oh,
mean, they're
boy.
all they're
Yeah.
all so different, and they all have different skill sets, and they're all learning, and every day those guys go to work and they put that same hat on. They say, okay, I'm going to go to work and learn today. Another guy that impresses me, a really awesome guy to play with, not to name other game, but
Mhm.
Glenn Day, what an awesome dude to play with. Joe Durant, they're all just amazing men. So yeah,
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to play with Justin Leonard, Ernie Els, or Mike Weir?
I've played with all
Okay.
three of those guys. Yeah. So they're
That's
all, again, all great guys. So yeah,
yeah.
you can't go wrong with any one of them.
Now, what about food? Is there any of these stops that there's some food, whether milkshakes or anything that stands out that you just can't wait to get back to?
Restaurants, I guess restaurants in specific cities, because people are, there are a lot of foodies out there with you guys, always talking about food on Sirius XM or on the Golf Channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's a place called Kirby's Steakhouse, and that's by the Woodlands, and that is off the charts. Um, Perry's Steakhouses are pretty solid as well on the road, and of
Hmm.
course, my favorites are, of course, my sponsor, the J. Alexanders. I mean, my
Yeah.
goodness, you
Great.
cannot go wrong. But yeah, so each town has its little segues, but the food out there is pretty good. But yeah, the steakhouses, especially across the Midwest, when you start
Yeah.
getting into like Wisconsin, oh, it's just so good.
So, which player makes you laugh the most? Who's got the best sense of humor out there?
Oh God, each one of them has their own sense of humor. You've got dry sense of humors, you've got funny sense of humors, you've got international sense of humors. It's a mixed
You know what?
bag of
You know what?
of
Rob. When you say that, it makes me think of the fact that the PGA Tour has a lot of characters. A lot of those have gone to live, right? All those guys who actually were vocal in what they say and what they do. But on the Champions Tour, you have all the guys from Miguel Angel Jimenez, who they call the mechanic, and all the things that he does,
Cigar and all that.
including his image,
Yeah.
right?
And he always smells so good. He wears Tom Ford. He always smells so good. It's unbelievable. And I'm a married man, but he's a good smelling guy.
I'm sure the locker room banter, because it's more of our age bracket. It's a lot different than it would be with the younger boys. And we certainly appreciate you sharing everything with us and talking about your experiences and your journey. And, you're always welcome to the show. We didn't get a chance to see you in Calgary this year, but maybe next year.
Definitely. I'll be there. Don't you
Yeah,
worry. We're gonna get through Q school in a few weeks, and we'll get back out there because you know, I know that's where I belong.
that's amazing. So, and again, yeah, if you're ever in a pinch, you need someone to man the bag. Don't hesitate to drop us a line. We'll drop everything, and one of us will come down.
Hey, listen, if he hasn't asked for the time off, I might be pinging one of you two.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Mike, we're going to stay on for a little bit longer. Rob, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much again, and good luck with your journey. We'll be watching.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
100%.
Nice to be with you all.
Yeah,
You too.
absolutely.
Take care.
Well, Mike, that's been great. Two great guests today, starting with Alex Miceli and now Rob Labritz. Give a special thank you. Once again, let's go through our list of sponsors. Really important to say thank you for those who support us. If you're watching, don't tune out yet. We've got one little topic to talk about, Castilla Roofing in Florida. If you've gone through a tough time in Florida with Helene or Milton, get your free estimate for roofing from Mike Kelly at Castilla Roofing. That's castillaroofing.us. Lagmaster Sports is now offering free putting mastery course, which wasn't available before, on lagmastersports.com. So you get all your swing tips from Mike Dickson. ParadoxGolf.com, of course, with Jeff Henning. We got ours, you got yours, Mike, the revolutionary bag and cart in one, the 3-wheel push cart at ParadoxGolf.com. How do you like yours?
It's beautiful. I've got it wrapped. I'm planning to do a video right now. I'm going to unpack it and compare my current setup, which is a Click Gear 4.0 cart with a Titleist bag. I'm going to do a side-by-side with it on how long it takes to set up versus the Paradox bag. And then on the course, I'm looking forward to seeing it, fully loaded. And we've had a bit of rain here the last week, and I've been busy. I've actually golfed in 10 days. So yeah, I'm going to do an on-course test with it and see how it goes. But it's beautiful. The pocket structure, it looks great. You can hold a lot of gear in it, and I'm looking forward to getting on the links and seeing how it performs.
A great win by JT Poston. But just before I go to that, Rob Labritz, what a great little endorsement by him for Shape and Swelter, Rob Snyder and his ball cap system.
Right.
We've got a contest coming up for the Christmas and holiday, so please stay tuned. We're going to be sending those off to multiple winners, and once we get that in. And a special thank you for all the digital support from Evolve Creative Solutions. Make sure you go to their website, Evolve Creative Solutions. You get your free audit of your website or app, and Raphael Golf. So come see me if you're in the GTA. What that means is the Greater Toronto area for outdoor or indoor lessons. I use a Foresight simulator. I also use video analysis at 2 locations. So come and see me. Mike, what do you think of JT Poston winning? Don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but that golf course is great. I like the desert golf. I know you do. You're a big fan of desert golf. JT Poston with his 3rd win. He's kind of a quaint guy. Doesn't have too much to say. Not an outgoing kind of guy, but he's got a good all-around game with his 3rd win on tour. Congratulations to him.
Absolutely. He got it done. I was watching quite a bit this weekend because the weather was so bad here in BC. So I was enjoying watching the sunny desert, although they had a bit of a cold spell and had time delay. But Taylor Pendrith was in the mix for quite a while, but just couldn't keep it going. And JT Poston's been around for a long time, so him picking up a win, it's got to taste great on his plate right now. Get some couple more years of status and entered into the Masters, the Players Championship, and the PGA Championship. I believe I've got that right. It doesn't get him into the U.S. Open, or the Open Championship. He needs to get a little bit more work done before he gets into those events. But he's got to be thrilled, right? He's not a household name, but he still would beat the hell out of me in the golf course. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Taylor Pendrith, because he did have that opening round of 61 at 10 under. And that reminds me, do you remember back in the day when this was called the Fries.com and Mike Weir shot 10 under and actually ended up winning the tournament?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
that goes way back.
Yeah, so it sort of gave me a flash of that when I saw him shoot 61 at TPC Summerlin, and it was very exciting. I'm an old fan of the old Tiger Woods EA Sports TPC Summerlin golf 100%. Course. You remember that, Mike, right?
48, no problem. On the old PlayStation.
That's right. Yeah, Ben Silverman had a very good round too. He was a Canadian. Sorry to interrupt, but a 64 opener for him. They ended up finishing T59, a good finish for Ben Silverman as well.
That's right. It was great to see the Canadians in the mix, and we hope to see more of it. We are kind of in that silly season. A lot of the European players are taking a break or maybe playing elsewhere, and obviously the live players are doing what they do. But this is a good time of year for the up and comers to go out there and get a win. Like Tiger Woods' first win was during this time of the year. And this is that time.
But speaking of Tiger, Mike, remember when he used to go to Japan? That's where they're going to be next, October 24th to 27th at the Zozo Championship. Yeah. Then they're going to Los Cabos in Mexico. So it is kind of a silly Worldwide Technology Championship. Then the Butterfield Bermuda Championship it will be happening November 14th to 17th. And there's always some interesting stories there as well.
Yeah, it's that time to shine, right? It's either you might get some of the veteran players out there looking to gather points or get some reps in, but it's really a good time for the young guns to go out there and make a name for themselves, get a jump on the season, get some FedEx points, throw some money in the bank, get the reps in. So it's fun. And then don't forget, as we get close to the holidays, we get the PNC championship, which is a lot of fun. It's a good it's just good solid fun event to watch, and we're going to see Tiger and Charlie have another run at it. Is Tiger scheduled for anything else? Is he going to the Zozo?
I'm not sure. I know that Schauffele is favored. Defending champ Morikawa is going to the event as well. So I put my money on them going out there. And, I'm just looking forward to a new season, a new start with everything that's happening in the headlines, especially with this new indoor series. The actual screen, supposedly, Mike, for this new league is something like 3 stories high. They actually have a short game going into the screen. It's not your regular twice the size screen or 10 foot by 20. So it's really going to be something else. Hopefully the technology works properly.
I'm skeptical on this. I'm curious to see it for sure. I'll tune in. It would be probably fun to be there live, as Alex Miceli was saying. But I don't know. We've all hit balls into TrackMans or Foresight, whatever you're using, and I find it's great in the winter when you're working on your game, but seeing competition throughout a TrackMan system, I know there is an online digital tour, if you will. There's some of the local pros I know out here in BC compete on it virtually, but we'll see how this plays out. I don't know if it'll get legs, and don't know anything about it until we see it happen. But we do know they got a lot of money behind it, and maybe it grows into something. So time will tell.
Absolutely. TGL, take a look at the schedule. We'll be talking about this a lot more, Mike. we're going to see if we can get somebody out from the TGL on our podcast. Congratulations to Tim O'Neill, Hannah Green for winning her third event this year at the BMW Championship, JT Poston. And a very special thank to our guest, Rob Labritz, Champions Tour player, still grinding it out. 3 successful years, in my opinion, out on tour and doing what he does and playing, as well as Alex Miceli, award-winning writer, for coming on the show. If you're just joining us, just go back and watch. We're available on YouTube as well. Make sure to subscribe.
Yes, please.
Thank you to all our sponsors: Castillo Roofing, Lagmaster Sports, Paradox Golf, Shape and Swelter, Evolve Creative Solutions, Raphael Golf. Mike, you have yourself a great week. We'll be catching up soon enough, and we got some great guests coming in November. So make sure you guys subscribe.
Aye, and goodbye.
All right, take care, Mike.
It's an old captain reference from Vancouver. If anyone catches that, take care.